Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for coming to our session. We're going to talk about what it means to go from O11 to ODC. My name is John Ferguson. I'm part of our Global Solution Architecture team. I'm up here joined by my esteemed colleague, Fernando. Fernando, do you want to say something
My name is Fernando Moitinho, and I'm product manager at OutSystems, currently leading the O11 to ODC migration, a very exciting topic that I'm sure you would love to hear more about.
Absolutely. So what are we going to talk about today? First, we're going to start with a demo. We're talking about migrations, right? And we know that many of you are trying to think about that journey. How do you go from O11 to ODC? What does it look like? We're here to give you some confidence on how we're going to approach that, the program around it, what are the kinds of things that we're doing to accelerate that work for you, and share a little bit about the future. Sure. We want you to walk out of here today feeling confident that there is a purpose and an approach that you can follow that helps you start that journey. We also want to give you some ideas and thoughts on how you can even start that journey today, and hopefully you walk away with a little bit of confidence in that as well.
Exactly.
But you know what? Why don't we start with a demo?
Go ahead.
All right, let's do that. Great. I'm going to start here, actually, showing you a real OutSystems application running in O11. So what we're looking at here is an OutSystems application that is a credit card and loan origination app. We've got a nice dashboard here. We have a little bit of data sitting inside here. So this is a real application. It's not something super simple. And what we're going to do today is actually take this app with some of its dependencies and migrate it over to ODC. The first step in that journey is part of what we call the migration assessment tool. Now, this is part of our toolkit, and these are a set of tools to help you accelerate getting over to ODC. The first step in that journey is actually about mapping your current applications into some ODC concepts. So we're going to take this credit card app. We'll actually call it loan origination. And this is going to be a web app in ODC parlance. So the idea is, what we think of as applications in O11, they translate into ODC. We're going to save this mapping, and something really cool is going to happen. The assessment tool is going to look at your application. It's going to figure out, hey, are there some changes that I need to make here in O11? Is it ready for ODC? And even give us some suggestions on things that we could do to make our application more ready to bring over to ODC. This is a critical first step that allows you to understand what you need to do in order to get started on that journey. Now, what this says today is it says we're going to refactor in O11. So let's actually see what it's telling us. First, it says I have some dependencies that I'm going to need to package up as part of the thing I want to bring over to ODC. So let's actually go and find those and bring them into this mapping that we're doing. The first is the Oracle CRM module. Now, in ODC, we would call this a library. So we're going to tell the tool, hey, this is actually a library. Go take a look at it. And there was another one, PDF utilities, that we want to bring as part of this. So PDF utils, we'll find it here in the list. Make sure it's a library. Save the mapping. And as we've been doing this, the assessment tool is looking through and actually seeing, hey, are there anything in these dependencies? Maybe it has sub-dependencies that we need to map in here. But it's starting to give us some feedback about any work we may need to do. Now, it says for the Oracle CRM, this is ready for ODC. Great. The PDF utils, I think will come back green as well. But what we're going to do next is actually run another assessment at the loan origination app to kind of refine our knowledge now that we've made some changes to our mapping. So PDF utils comes back green. We run our assessment for loan origination. And this is kind of the process you're going to walk through with your applications, constantly refining, making some changes, and iterating towards the result of being fully ready to move over to ODC. Now, once this is done, we're actually going to go into ODC and show how your applications are going to be migrated. But first, we need that green thumbs up. Hey, look, there it is. So let's go over to ODC. In ODC, this is the portal that everyone uses, the ODC portal. You can see your apps, you can see information about your applications, you can see configuration and users, but now underneath we have a Migrate O11 thing. We can click on Code Migrations, because actually what we've done is configured this ODC tenant to look at that O11 one that we were looking at. And you can see our three pieces here. We have our loan origination and its two dependencies. We're going to click Migrate Code, which brings us to the migration screen, and we're going to click Migrate. Now, This is going to take us about 7 to 8 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and talk about ODC a little bit and about the process, and then we'll come back to take a look at where we are, because you don't want to just sit here looking at me for 10 minutes and waiting for this. So why don't we actually go back into our slides, and we'll talk a little bit more about how ODC can really help you. Okay, why do we even want to do this? Why do we want to migrate to ODC? Well, there's a number of reasons, some of which might actually make you want to do something today. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know what OutSystems Developer Cloud is, ODC, or OutSystems Developer Cloud, is our next generation platform. It brings together a cloud-native approach to running and building your applications, along with higher levels of security, stability, resiliency, that allow you to build applications that people love to use. Now, of course, as you learned about earlier today and at the conference, we released our mentor system for you to start looking at or start thinking about, maybe even join the EAP, that helps you build applications quickly and edit them quickly, right? Maintain them in the full software development lifecycle. But ODC isn't just an app builder, right? We have built-in eventing that allows you to build an event-driven architecture. If you've ever done this in O11 and you've wired in Kafka or some other type of tool, that's work. But we see it to be so critical to the way people are building applications today that we've made it a first-class citizen in the platform itself. Additionally, we've changed the way that we do integrations, and we've created data fabric. Embedding OutSystems into your ecosystem means connecting to your legacy systems, connecting to all sorts of data platforms, and we've made it even easier to not only connect and integrate, but to govern the lifecycle, and even bring a lot of those disparate data sources together, which is a very common pattern for many people. ODC brings a really nice approach to library versioning. So what we called modules before in O11 now basically translate to this concept of a library. But we know that dependency management has always been a challenge in O11 and has some tricky things you learn along the way. We've dramatically simplified that in ODC and created a much easier way for you to have control over which versions of which libraries your applications are using to make them simpler and easier to deploy. But fundamentally, ODC is an evergreen platform. This means that we are constantly updating it, bringing new features, bug fixes, stability, new kinds of capabilities, and you don't have to take your applications down. Gone are the days where you get that notice that from 12 a.m. to 12:05 a.m., we're going to be bringing the software down. No. Software is meant to be up and usable and ready for your users when they need it. And an evergreen platform means that we bring those capabilities to you constantly, while also making sure that your apps are constantly up. Now, the nice thing about bringing your applications to ODC, especially in the way that we look at it, is that they are native applications. So when you take something through the toolkit, as we're showing you today, make it available in ODC, it is truly a native ODC app. Now, we've had some conversations with people that said, hey, maybe we'll wrap up your application, we'll give it like a little special home. No. O11 apps, when they translate over, are truly native ODC applications. And that way they get all the benefits of the platform rather than some subset. And that is really important so that you can take advantage of things like the mentor system and many of the other capabilities that ODC brings. Now, I'm going to hand it over to Fernando, who's going to talk about our global migration program, because this is how you can get started and how we're going to help you along the way.
Perfect.
Fernando?
Thank you so much, John. All right, so global migration program. So the global stands for every customer. Each customer will have their chance to migrate, and we are here to support you along this journey. The migration stands for, obviously, enabling you to move your existing O11 portfolio into ODC with tooling that can help you and guide you throughout the way. And program, guidance, and support that we OutSystems provide to you, that you comfortably, at your own pace, at your own timing, can do this move to ODC. So let me talk to you a bit more about what the program stands for. So the program entails 4 different stages, where the very first one is where you get awareness and consideration about ODC. You get acquainted with ODC, what can deliver to you. And so throughout documentation, throughout training, and throughout user events and events like this one, you get more information about ODC, what benefits can bring to you and your applications and your business. So that is the very first stage. The second stage, and is a very critical one for you as a customer, is commercial and budgeting implications. And for that, we are also, according to our plan, to have special pricing constructs that can help you while you are transitioning. And so we are thinking about special pricing conditions that you can transition from a contract standpoint, AOs from one O11 to the ODC contract, so that you can have a predictable and stable contract license throughout the migration journey. And special pricing constructs that while you are coexistence in parallel, both O11 and ODC, you do benefit from special pricing constructs. The next step is planning and program management. So in this particular one, there is many different facets that you need to consider while you are doing this planning and actually executing the migration. And so we have a team that can run with you and guide you and help you in crafting a roadmap or prioritization of which are the applications that should be moved first. What is that prioritization list? The ones that probably are going to benefit the most from ODC at this moment. And so we can help you with that as well. Also assessing the readiness level of your existing O11 applications. How ready are they to move to ODC? Work with you identifying what's the pre-work that should be done, as well as regular checkpoints to see how the progress of the migration is going. Run books and documentation can guide you throughout the process, and very importantly, relying on our partner community that can help you and guide you in a more scalable way than us alone, OutSystems. And so for that in particular, we have rolled out very recently a readiness partner badge that can that are ensuring that what are the partners that are already entitled and ready to help you throughout that migration. And lastly, some of the tools that John has shown to you, the migration kit, where we started with the assessment that can assess your readiness level and can exactly pinpoint which are the adjustments and the things that you still need to address in O11 in order to be migrated, ready to be migrated. And then the second step is the code migration that John just executed, and the tool is executing at this moment, that is responsible to pick up that code from O11 and convert it into becoming an ODC native application. And lastly, once that code is already published in ODC, then you go to the next step, which is data migration, which ensuring that your existing O11 data from any environment can be migrated into their according entities on the ODC side. And throughout this entire journey, we have documentation to help you along the way that clears out any questions that you may have. So more strategically, we know that there is no one-size-fits-all. So for that, we do have available two different migration paths. So the very first one is targeting smaller factories that in a very short time frame can pick up all their O11 applications and push them into ODC throughout using the migration kit. And so we are calling this the one-shot approach. It's targeting a smaller factory, 300 AOs, and is ready now. So you can apply for the early access program to use this migration kit now. For the largest customers that have many applications in O11, we are recommending a coexistence approach, where you can start now building new applications, portfolio, net new applications in ODC, while you are preparing your O11 portfolio to be ready to be migrated. So with no rush, according to your time frame, according to your pace, you can do this in a progressive way. And so if you want to know more about the ODC coexistence, I invite you to attend tomorrow's session for Sergio Diaz that will deep dive on this matter. So regarding roadmap, so we are at this point releasing, as I mentioned, the early access for the one-shot migration, so smaller factories that can, in a very short time frame, migrate their entire O11 applications into ODC, and this entails assessment, code, and data migration. Later this year, we are going to release and enhance the migration kit to enable the conversion and migration of simple O11 business process or BPTs from O11 to ODC. And also later this year, we are going to release conversion ability to convert simple traditional web applications into reactive one, still within O11, so that those applications become compatible with the migration kit, so that those can be later on be migrated into ODC. And the first half of 2025, then we'll move to the largest factories, where in a progressive manner, largest factories can bundle, can do a package of applications and migrate those independently into ODC. Later on, we are going to focus more on the complex BPTs, self-managed environment packs, and multi-tenant. So important message here is that every O11 use case is going to be covered by migration kit. It's just a matter of waiting for the right time to onboard on this journey. So back to you, John.
Awesome. Thanks.
Okay.
So hopefully, while we've been doing this, we've actually had the migrations move over. And the good news is, yes, they have. Right now, they're in an unpublished state. So actually what we're going to do as the next step in this process is pull them down, check for dependencies, which is kind of like brushing your teeth. You should always be checking for dependencies. But we are going to go through them because we're giving you control over making sure these things move through the life cycle in a clean and comfortable way. So first, let's open up this Oracle component that we brought over. It's Oracle library. Let's brush our teeth, check for dependencies, and publish. So again, the app has now been moved over to ODC, but it's in an unpublished state. But once we actually put it up there, it's ready to go. It says we're published. Let's come back here to the migration process, and we can actually see here Oracle CRM is marked published. Let's grab the next one on the list, the PDF utilities. Again, we're going to go through the same process. Let's refresh, make sure there's no issues, and then we're going to publish it right back up into our dev environment. So we'll come back into ODC Studio. We'll open up PDF utilities. We'll brush our teeth and check for dependencies. Looks good. And we publish. Now, what's going to happen next is once this is published in green, I can go grab the main application, the web application. That's going to require a little bit more work. Part of that is because the way we've done logins in ODC are fairly streamlined and straightforward. But that also means if you have some kind of customized logic around logins, you're going to need to do a little bit of work. And we've intentionally made it so that you don't have some auto conversion into something that you have to rework that's kind of strange. We're giving you the control over how this should happen. So let's actually open that up and we'll see some of the errors that are in there that we need to fix in order to get this ready to go and published into dev for us. So we're going to open this up. And it already gives us a couple of things that we need to change. Great. It says, hey, you've got these actions and a couple of things. We're going to get rid of those. Goodbye. That's the easiest way to fix an error is just delete it, right? Isn't that how we build software? Yes, that's right. Great. We also have this do login that we're going to take away, because that's an O11 construct. And we're going to bring in the login from the system source. Bring that in. It's also going to say, hey, you need to do some changes here. So we're going to open that up. And where we were first calling do login, we get rid of that. And we bring in the new login action. Make it available. We just need to fill in a couple of things here. This is username. And password is obviously the password input variable. And that looks good. There's one little unexpected data type, null identifier. We actually need to make this null text identifier. We've done some refinements on some of the IDs. But it says the app is valid. So let's publish. All right, so this is kind of the moment of truth, everybody. So
exciting.
This is exciting. So again, think about what we've done thus far. We took an application in O11. We went through a couple of things. Oh, hey, I didn't brush my teeth. It's catching me on that. We did a couple of things to make sure that the dependencies were mapped in correctly. We then said, hey, over in ODC, here's the apps that you want to pull from O11. We told it to migrate. It pulled all of that over, made it available inside of ODC as an unpublished application. And that was the opportunity for us to pull it down, make sure we're refreshing our dependencies, and make any kind of changes we need to in order for that to truly be ready to go inside of ODC. And so all I'm waiting for is that beautiful blue button. Before I click it, though, there's one important thing. I need to go back in here and check my users, because you do need to manage your users differently in ODC than we do in O11. And if I go in here and I go to my end user access and assign a role, I'm going to assign my loan origination app, save that, and I'm going to click the blue button. Let's see what happens. My gosh, the app came up so far. I log in, and I have my app.
I have an application.
This is great. Thank you. Thank you.
Great.
Now, obviously, there's something missing here. There's no data in the application. And as Fernando mentioned, that is a critical step here. We are giving you the ability to do that so that you can migrate your data. That takes about 30 to 35 minutes. And since this session is only 30 minutes, that probably wouldn't have been a great way to spend our time, is just watching the logs go by. But you can migrate your data today, and that is available for you. So again, what did we do? We took an O11 app. We made it ready for migration. We packaged it up. We went to ODC. We brought it over. We pulled it down into ODC Studio just to make sure any changes needed to happen happened, and we published it. And that's a full migration.
It's amazing.
I mean, people take years to do migrations on some platforms, and we migrated an app here in 20 minutes plus a little bit of hot air. So why don't we kind of wrap up here, because this is a good place to stop. I'm ahead, which is always positive, right? It worked. So let's actually talk about what you can do next. First, you can visit us at the product booth. We'll still be here a little bit. Feel free to drop by. You also can click this QR code and take a look at it and become a part of the early stage of the journey. And that's important to note. We're still early, right? We're still learning a lot, but we have a very specific approach, a methodology to how we're doing this, but we need your help. We're going to do this together. This isn't a, hey, OutSystems, just go make that happen. That'd be beautiful, but if you've ever done migrations before, that's just not realistic. Instead, we're going to do this hand in hand with you, our customers, our partners, and the general OutSystems ecosystem to make this successful. And that's what we're going to do together. It's going to be a journey. Give us feedback. We know we don't have all the answers, but we do know that working together, we can be successful at this. And I expect us to have a really great story to tell at the next one conference. Right. So with that, thank you all very much. Thank you, Fernando.
Thank you.
Hope you all have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Thank you.